What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. James and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everybody to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell. And in this episode, we're going to discuss a new member to the Ravens flock in a position where a lot of people were hoping that they would go out and address the position via free agency and bring in a veteran, and they finally have. But before we get into it, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and we will keep you up to date on all your Ravens news. But Jimbo, tell the people who just became a Raven.
That's right. As you guys can see in the title, Demarcus Robinson is expected to sign with the Baltimore Ravens. All signs are indicating that is a done deal. And it's been posted on the Ravens website, so it's official. Demarcus Robinson, as you guys can remember, had a big play against us last year. I think it was a 36-yarder or something of that nature that he went for in the end zone. Yeah, and he also, I think, did the squirrel dance in the end zone.
He's gonna have to explain himself with that one.
Exactly. So yeah, the Ravens signed him. Of course, most recently he was with the Raiders, got let go in their first round of cuts. What we've been able to glean from that scenario was that, number one, we know that the Raiders have a heated competition at wide receiver. Obviously, have probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, Devontae Adams, and then a decent supporting cast behind him. But ultimately, there were a few young guys there, and Matt Collins, Keelan Cole, and Tyron Johnson, that they just felt a little better about at this point than they did Robinson. So they decided to let him go earlier rather than later, and I think that was a professional courtesy to him more than anything. So he's here now.
Yep.
And I mean, I can give you, before we get your expectations, Glenn, I just have a few stats here. So of course he's 27. One thing that's great is he's never missed a game in 6 seasons. In the past, in 19 and 20, he averaged more than 450 yards and 7 touchdowns. Now, last year, his production dropped 25 catches, 260 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But like we said, he's always played well against us. In 4 games, he's got 16 catches for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ugh. So, I mean, a guy that's moderately productive, but not, I don't know if he's I think he's exactly what we expected the Ravens to do, right? What are your thoughts?
He's not a guy that's going to come in and take hold of the number 1 receiver job. In fact, he's probably,
if he did, we'd be nervous.
Yeah, that would be a bad news. I think he still, however, has a very good shot to make the team. Now that he's here. And the reason being is you touched on one big reason is he's never missed a game in his career. He's played in every single game since he's been drafted, all with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he brings the durability that you'd like. He also brings playoff experience and championship experience. The guy's won a Super Bowl. The guy has been in multiple big-time playoff games. And so knows what to expect in the biggest moments. He's also a veteran. We talked about the most seasoned veteran in the room heading into this season was Devin Duvernay and James Prochet. And while we like those guys, we also understand that there's value to having a veteran in the room. And I think the Ravens understand that as well. I think that's part of the reason why they bring in guys like Justin Houston, is because their veteran leadership is valued. So you're getting a vet in the room. You're also getting a versatile player. You're getting a guy who can return punts. He can return kicks. And he's also been a pretty solid performer offensively. While he hasn't had like crazy numbers, Jimbo, he's been always a touchdown guy. 4 touchdowns a year is basically his average. That's nothing to sneeze at, before everyone this is a guy who's never been a number 1, number 2 receiver, and yet he still finds a way to make an impact and get in the end zone. And he's made, like you mentioned, some tough catch. That catch on Marlon was not easy. Had a one-handed catch, another one in the end zone against the Ravens. And that's what the Ravens like to do. They like to go out and sign guys that play well against the Ravens. That's just typically how it goes. So while he's not a guy that's going to, make this isn't the missing piece to get them over the hump, and now they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but he is a solid player. He'll, in my opinion, he'll certainly make the team, and he's a great insurance policy for as a return guy to fill in case something were to happen to Devin Duvernay. And so for those reasons, I think this is a great addition for the Ravens receiving core. What do you think, Jimbo?
Yeah, I mean, great's a little strong. I'll say good addition. Good addition.
Yeah.
Solid addition.
There
This
you
is
go.
like when a guy gets up to bat and he hits a nice, he gaps it between the third baseman or the third baseman and the shortstop, and he makes it first. Like, all right, this is
Solid.
nice. Yeah, it was a nice hit. You got a single. All right, let's do something you can build on. But this is the last thing I'll say about him that does have me excited about this. One thing that was very clear from Chiefs media, who we've had on the show multiple times, and from Patrick Mahomes himself, is that he trusted Demarcus Robinson. That's a big deal. And that's why I think you see some of those numbers and some of those moments, because he knew that he could go to that guy in moments. We need a guy like that. So we need more guys like that. So I think that that's crucial. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, see what kind of impact he has. Hopefully he has more impact than a Willie Snead or that type of signing. Hopefully he's a bit more impactful than that. But we're looking forward to it, right, Glenn?
Oh, no doubt. This guy, I think will add something to the room, a room that has been banged up as of late and is extremely unexperienced top to bottom. So, yeah, he's a good add, not like a season changing ad, but a nice piece to add, and we'll see if they're done adding to that group.
And at least it's not a veteran that's oft injured. He's in his 20s, and he's pretty much reliable. So let us know what your guys' thoughts are. Leave your comments below, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you.